people's weaknesses will be our strengths. So I may not be able to dance, I may not be able to sing, but I like to speak and I like to share what I'm sharing. And in the same way, there'll be people in the world, and that's why everyone's so complimentary. That's what's so beautiful. The world we live in is that when you recognize your strengths.
Sorry, I think I lost you there.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
When you recognize your own strengths, you actually learn to recognize and appreciate everyone's strengths. So that's why it's so important to get a good understanding of your strengths. And an important point with strengths is don't confuse inexperience with weakness. Don't think just because you haven't tried something that you're not good at it. So many of us just write things off because we say, oh no, I can't do that. But we've never even tried. And so I'm sure there's so many things in your life that you've thought you couldn't do, but then when you try it, you realize that you can.
Yeah. True. And I think it's important to also learn or realize that I may be good at something, but there's always someone who is better at it out there somewhere in the world, and that kind of brings you a lot more humility. And something that I always I read that somebody wrote about Roger Federer was that Roger Federer he knows that he is the greatest player of all time. But what he does choose to be is kind.
Yeah.
He's kind about, he's confident. It's not that he's not, he knows he's good, but it's just that he chooses to be kind.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think that's great because, you have to always apply that, when no matter what you do in everything.
Yeah, there's a quote that The Rock always shares. So The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, the actor, he always shares this quote. He says, it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. And so he's always sharing that. And I think that people ultimately connect with us because of our character and our heart. And, ego is just such a turn-off as a quality.
Yeah.
But at the same time, low self-esteem is not good for us as well. And so that's why deeply understanding both of our strengths and our weaknesses, our flaws and imperfections, and also our passions and purpose, to recognize both of them is what brings us joy.
Yeah. True. Yeah. You've given me a lot to think about, so it takes me some time to move on to my question.
No, it's beautiful. This is how it should be. Everyone who's watching, what Pooja is doing is so amazing because you sitting there and reflecting on it, that's what we all need to do more. Like the way you're responding to every question is exactly what we all need to do more. We need to just take a moment and we just need to reflect and accept it rather than like, okay, what's the next one? All right, let's do the next question. And so actually what you're doing, you're training us. You're teaching everyone who's watching this in how to actually process wisdom. And that's the way it should be done. I'll give an example. The other day, I posted the book in India to show how well it was doing and how much support I was getting from India. And someone commented saying, I can't believe the book is $329. And it's not, it's rupees or something like that. And so someone commented, they thought it was dollars because they were obviously not from India.
Right.
And they didn't see the rupees sign. And then someone commented and said, no, that's rupees to them. Someone else commented, I didn't comment.
Yeah.
And then they said, oh, this should remind me that I need to slow down. And I thought that, it was just such a perfect example of how we judge so quickly or we try and move on so quickly. But if we just take a moment to really reflect, we actually find the right answers.
Yeah, and I think, your book is something.
Oh, I've lost you.
Yeah, sorry. So I think that, your book does that because a book like that, I personally feel you really have to read a couple of pages and apply it in your life, because, they say knowledge is power, but I always feel that applied knowledge is power,
Absolutely.
What's the point of getting your life experiences? And even if you take away one thing from that, it makes such a big difference in your life. You know,
Yes.
I loved where you said about it, to your to-do list, because I'm someone who loves to write, and I love writing my to-do lists. And I love that you said, like, add a to-be list.
Yes.
What would you like to be? Okay, and in order to do these things, what do you have to be?
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
Why don't you talk about it? Like, give me an example. What's in your book?
Yeah. So for example, we say that, and this is a concept that started originating about 10 years ago, and I think it's phenomenal, but it really exists in the Gita as well. And so we're always trying to do more stuff, get more stuff done, try and meet deadlines. Yeah. But then we say, oh no, but why am I stressed? Why am I pressured? And it's because we have to be calm as we do what we want to do. But if all we're trying to do is get stuff done, then we will be rushed, or we will be hurried, or we will be stressed. So the first thing we have to ask ourselves is, what state of mind do I want to be in when I'm doing this? And actually, if I'm not going to be in the best state of mind, then maybe I should postpone it, or maybe I should do something to get myself in that state of mind. And that's a much better way of living, because then you'll be happier doing that task. But if you're always just trying to get more done, the best way of thinking about it is this. How many times do you check off everything off your to-do list, but you feel like you're not satisfied? Have you ever felt that way?
Many times.
Yeah, same. You do everything, but you don't feel satisfied. So what I say to people is...
Or the other way around, where I've over-planned and I've not done everything.
Yeah, that too. That too.
Yeah.
And that's why the solution to both of them is asking yourself, what's the one thing I can do today that will make today feel like a success? It's not how many things I can get done. It's asking myself, what's the one thing I can do today that will make me feel enthusiastic that today was a good day, and then I'll be inspired for tomorrow as well.
Yeah, true. Yeah. But also especially because, like, I'm a workaholic, and I love being a workaholic. But I think when I plan my to-do list, it's also like I'm always like, okay, what did I get done? But if I just add in my to-be list, if I added kindness for the day, or did I operate on the paradigm of love or stress?
Yes.
And it's like a constant check that I'm keeping on myself.
Yes.
That did I do this? Today was I stressed all the time, or did I do it with kindness? Did I do it with love? And I just think that small thing, which is going to take you 3 seconds, can really change your day and give you a sense of fulfillment.
I love that. Yeah, that's exactly it. It's a moment by moment check. And it may sound tiring in the beginning, but actually it's really freeing in the end. It's really refreshing, because the more you keep reminding yourself, the happier you are. Whereas when you allow your mind to just go where it wants, that's what drains us.
Yeah.
It's almost like...
You also talk...
Yeah, go on. Go on.
No. It's almost
go on.
You were saying something. It's almost like... No, I was just thinking about something else. You talk about... and I think it's a very small form of meditation too. Meditation doesn't really always have to be about breathing. It can be even something as small as this. And what I love about which in the book is that meditation, you talk about meditation in a very religion neutral way. A lot of people think that, it's about one religion. But it's not that, is it?
No, meditation is an amazing practice and tool that is unified across all religions and spiritual paths. And the 3 types of meditation that I share are breathwork, visualization, and mantra. So mantra in India, everyone will be very aware of mantra meditation. But breathwork and visualization are really powerful. And sometimes we don't realize just how powerful they can be. So visualization is one of my favorite meditations. You can visualize how something is going to go in your mind before you do it, so that you feel less nervous and anxious. So if you're going to an event or an award show, if you're going to a meeting or a presentation you have to give at work, you can just visualize in your head, what will I do? Okay, I'll open the Zoom call, I'll remember the notes, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. You go through the process. So you don't visualize the result. You go through the process in your mind and think, what am I going to do? And when you do that, you then feel more prepared because it's almost like a dress rehearsal in your mind. It's almost like a practice run in your mind.
Right.
And so you can visualize that. You can also visualize, let's say something happened to you in the past and you don't think you behaved in the right way. Now, I know many people who feel that they may not have said the right thing to someone that they don't speak to anymore. And it may be scary to reach out to them and say it to them. And so first we can visualize saying it to them in our mind. And when we do that, it becomes easier. And then if we want to say it in person, we can also say it in person. So sometimes if I have to have a tough conversation with someone, I'll first visualize it and walk through it in my mind to think about what will I say? What do I think they will feel? How will I feel when I say it? And then when I do it in real life, so you're almost practicing in visualization with yourself.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, it does.
Yeah.
Right. Which is so true. And you know, that I think makes you just go through the process even more smoother. Like if you're doing it for a meeting or like you said, you know, talking to someone. You also talk a lot about letting go and forgiveness in your book. And how important is that, like forgiveness?
I think forgiveness is really important. And I think the most important part of that is learning to forgive our own selves. Because I think that that's the hardest one that stops us from forgiving everyone. And we don't forgive ourselves for our mistakes when we were young. We don't forgive ourselves for the relationships we got into. We don't forgive ourselves for our mistakes in the workplace. And that just, every time you don't forgive yourself, it's like creating a barrier towards your potential. Because now you're stopping yourself. So you think that you're holding on to the past, but actually you're just building more blocks in your future. And so my recommendation to people is start with forgiveness of yourself. Realize that we all make mistakes, including me. All of us make mistakes. None of us are perfect, and that's absolutely fine. And that we all are just trying to learn and grow. And I think rather than every day thinking to ourselves, oh, I wish I did that. Oh, I should have done that. Oh, I got that wrong. Imagine we ended every day and just said, oh, that's what I learned today. That's what I'll do differently tomorrow. That's going to stay with me. If you thought like that at the end of the day, you wouldn't sleep with stress and you wouldn't sleep with pressure.
Yeah. But what about people who've done wrong? You feel they've done wrong. You know? Like the act of forgiving them.
Yes. So anyone who's done wrong to you, the first thing you have to realize is they may never apologize. And unfortunately, we live in a world where people are, even that person has not forgiven themselves. That's why they can't apologize to you. Because they themselves are so pained by what they've done that they don't even want to face it. And so waiting or expecting or wishing or wanting someone to change or to apologize will mean we will never be able to forgive them because we'll be waiting for a very long time. So the first thing we have to do is we have to give ourselves closure by really asking ourselves, what is it that I need to learn from this situation? What is it about what this person did to me that I can grow so that I don't make the same mistake again of getting involved with a person that is acting in this way? And that's really all we can do in that moment is we're not forgiving that person to forgive their mistake. We're not forgiving them because we believe that what they did wasn't wrong. We forgive them because we don't want to sit there every day and have this negative thought replaying. It's like saying you'd never keep playing a bad song to yourself or you'd never keep watching a bad movie. But in our thoughts, we keep playing the same thoughts and the bad movies in our minds about that person, which just brings us. So all we're trying to do in forgiving them is just switching off the movie, switching off the soundtrack, and saying, I want a new movie and I want a new soundtrack. That's what forgiveness is.
That's true. And that's amazing because I think then the ball's in your court, you know, in terms of you're not waiting for them. it's something you can do. It's something that's within your control.